Welcome back, everybody, to Nain Shorts. We're back on set here at Physique Magnifique. So if you're in the area of South San Francisco, come on by, check us out. It's a great place to train, whether you want to hit the bags or lift some weights. We got it all. But I want to take it back to the training that we do here at the Belated Mind. And I want to talk about a concept that we refer to as the third eye principle. And essentially, it's training your periphery. So you're not focused on any one thing, rather your whole field of vision and everything that's going on at the same time. Now, I use this on a regular basis. It doesn't mean I go out and fight on a regular basis. It means that I use this in my everyday life. I drive for a living. I drive a bus. It's a 45-foot bus, 18 tons, North Bay, East Bay, sometimes South Bay, up and down the peninsula, and the majority of the time through the streets of San Francisco. So paying attention to what I'm doing is vital to me doing a good job and, not killing somebody, because, I want to keep my job and benefits. But how do you train something like that? And before we get to how we train it specifically here, I want to just talk about why it becomes so important to focus on a field of vision and not individual things. And from what little research that I've done and what little I understand, I've come across the idea that the brain can only focus on one thing at any given time. And I know there's people out there who multitask every day and saying that's not true. I do multiple things at times, and women are even better at it than men. Now, that's kind of a myth, because what's really happening in the brain is that you're focusing a little bit of time on one thing and then stopping that and switching to another. Now, if the action that you're doing is simple enough, stirring something, mixing something, or something that you've done so much that's become such a habit, chopping, then it's easier to do while putting more concentration on another task, because you can just kind of put it on autopilot and let it go. But that's what's happening. You're putting concentration on one thing, and then you stop and you put it on another, then you stop, put it on another, which is why when you're doing too many things, when you're juggling too many activities at once, you tend to forget something. Oh, where did I leave my keys? You're rushing through, especially in a state where you're not calm, you tend to forget things. Now, I say that women are better at this than men because biologically, women have more connecting points between the two hemispheres of the brain. So it allows them to switch a lot easier from one task to the other. Guys, we don't have quite as many, which is why usually when we're focused on one thing, that's all we're focused on. But yet when we drive, we're doing a bunch of little things all at once. I mean, we're using our feet, we're using our hands, our eyes are scanning, we're using our hearing and everything else involved. We even have a conversation while in the car. But we can do that safely even though it's a bunch of little things. The reason behind that is that we're no longer concentrated on any one activity. We're focusing on an overall goal, an overall idea. That idea being get to where you're going. Safely, hopefully. For some people, it's get to where you're going as fast as you possibly can. And well, we've all seen those drivers on the street and in the freeways. But because the things that we train, the things that we practice, again, become more habitual, we're able to do them without putting too much focus on them, too much attention. Accidents happen, and this, again, I've seen it because I'm on the road a lot. It isn't that people stop paying attention or that they're distracted. It's really that their focus is on something else that has nothing or very little to do with driving. You see something and you're like, oh, what's that? All of a sudden you hit the person in front of you because you stopped paying attention to what you were supposed to be doing or the overall idea of getting somewhere safe. So it's really just distractions. Where are you going to put your focus at any given point? How much focus are you going to give on any one thing? And if you focus too much to one side, then you miss everything that happens on the other side. And for me, part of driving safely is constantly keeping my eyes moving and taking in as much information as I possibly can. The feet, the hands, again, I can feel those things, so it doesn't take a lot of concentration for me to do them correctly. I don't have to look down and make sure that I have the wheel at the right place. I don't have to keep looking down to see where the pedals are. So my eyes are scanning from one side to the other. But what I do that I think helps me out a lot is that I use my peripheries far more than anything else. And I learned that through training in the blanket mind. And like I said, we call that the third eye principle. So whenever our students start playing with another student, or even with the instructor, or we're doing our basic drill of 1 and 11, we tell the students to look in the third eye, or where the third eye would be, right between the eyes, right above. Now, we're not seeking wisdom, we're not seeking enlightenment or anything of the sort. We really want to just train to be able to see everything else around us and not focus on any one detail too long. Eventually, it's not the forehead that you're staring at, but rather dead space. Not looking at any one hand, you're not waiting for a left, you're not looking for a right, you're not waiting for a kick. You're looking at dead space and you're seeing everything happen at once, simultaneously. Now, where is he? Where is he? Rick?
Yes.
Need your help to demonstrate something. Rick got distracted. He saw something shiny and ran away. So
pretty much.
But that's what happens. Like, I'm serious. It's funny, but it's true. And then that's where the whole idea of safety. And if we're talking about safety in the sense of martial arts or self-protection, then being as aware as you possibly can and not being overly distracted on any one detail is going to help you out a lot more than doing this all day. Oh,
yes.
And you see people do it all the time. All the time. As a driver, you see people in a car. I actually saw some guy reading a legitimate book. Like, he had a thick book and he was turning the pages while he's driving, doing this. Yeah, it was pretty scary, but he went old school with it. But hold on one second. I'm going to get some sticks.
Ooh. And sticks too?
And sticks.
Holy cow. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Because just now we were talking about the third eye principle when we teach our students. One of the very first exercises we do is right here, 1 and 11. Now, if we track the stick every single time, eventually, the only thing we ever notice is the stick. So if Rick throws anything else out, oh,
You mean like that?
like that. Because my focus was on something that was moving, and every time it moves from one place to another, your brain has to readjust as to where it was. When something is standing still, it's easy to gauge, okay, that thing isn't moving, I know where it is at all times. But because the stick is moving, if I try to track it, at one point, I'm going to lose track of it. And I'm never going to see that hand coming. It doesn't matter how well trained we are, your brain just simply works that way. It can only focus on one thing at a time. So if I'm focused on the one thing, which is the stick, I'm never going to see anything else. I'm going to feel it, but by then it's going to be too late in the sense of a fight itself. But if I concentrate on his forehead, which doesn't have any real discernible details, then I can start seeing everything else that's moving along the way. Really? Again? Okay, thank you.
It's working though.
It is. Because now I can see whatever he throws at me. Yeah. I don't want to get hit. Yeah. Stop it, you silly bastard. Yay.
Good. You proved your point? I think we did.
I think we proved our point. And then if you guys want to try this, and really just kind of keep in mind, whatever, if you do sticks or any drill that you do, if you do it very well, try concentrating on every single move. And I mean literally looking at your hand with every move that you do. And then try doing it without looking. And see which one feels more comfortable to you, because there's going to be a difference between the two. And the idea behind it and what it becomes later on is that you're no longer looking for any one thing specifically. If you know that a fight is coming, then you're not looking for a punch or a kick, you're looking for a movement. You're not bogged down. And our good friend Nicholas Moreno, he proves this in one of one of the gatherings that we did, what is it, sympathetic nervous response?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, where if you're looking for something specific like a punch, as long as you feed the brain enough information, in your head, that punch was thrown. But in reality, it was only a feint, and then he went in a different direction. So you can't catch up. Your brain isn't fast enough to be able to tell the difference. So just by practicing a simple idea in the bladed mind for third eye principle, where we're looking eventually at dead space. Because even if I'm staring out here and I'm not looking at him, I can still see all the bits that I need to hit, or that I want to hit. If he's moving, I can also grab his finger, because I'm not really looking at anything specific. I'm not giving 100% of my attention to any one detail. Dare. Don't you dare. Okay. So you can see everything that's going on around you. Seriously? You're going to try, aren't you? I have a stick. I want to remind you, I have a stick.
Okay. Sorry, boss. I was just trying to see. Go ahead, continue. Am I done?
By doing so, thank you, Rick. You know what? Yeah, just chill out. I'm just concerned at this point that something's wrong with you. Oh my God. I lost my train of thought there for a second. But the simple idea of being able to focus on the entire field of vision instead of any one given thing. Because it's human nature. We see something we like, we see something shiny. Ooh, squirrel. Your attention is going to go towards it. It just is. So we have to train ourselves enough to be able to ignore the things that are going to distract us so we can focus on all the moving parts. Everything around us, whether it's people at the gym, people on the street, or cars driving in the street, it's something that you can practice on a regular basis. It doesn't take a lot of concentration. As a matter of fact, less concentration is needed. Now, what does this do for the actual training aspect when you have a partner in front of you? Well, first of all, the way that we teach our students about mechanics at the beginning, as well as concepts like the third eye principle, we teach them to focus on the movement itself. Now, on the student side, the individual practicing this idea, it actually teaches you to feel what's going on. You're more focused on the movement itself because your instructor is going to tell you whether you're doing it right or wrong anyways. So then you can focus on, okay, this one he said was right. So how did that feel? Well, I don't have to look and be like, oh, did I drop my hand far enough or did I? No. Now, it's more a sensitivity. It's a sensation that you can get. And this becomes part of your natural movement. Because again, what we try to get the students to do is flow and move how they can, how their body allows them to. We give them the tools and the concepts, but ultimately it's on the student to figure out how it moves for them. In case of having an opponent in front of you, especially when you're training, if you're not constantly looking at what they're doing specifically, but rather the overall idea, well then you can see the things coming, and your brain, because it becomes a passive idea, starts picking up on the patterns and the tells of what people are going to do or about to do in any situation where we're talking about confrontation. So your training is then taken to another level where instead of looking at the specific pieces that go along with any drill or any technique, now you're looking at the overall field. Then you can concentrate on other concepts, the energies that go, the timing, the speed, accuracy. And you can start using them in conjunction with the entirety of the motion, the interaction between one student and the other. Now, again, there's just an idea, just a concept, something that we teach in the bladed mind to get the students to relax more. So they're not constantly looking to perfect the one individual movement or the one piece to an overall idea or an overall exercise. This way, we can work on the simple concept of flow. You just want to move. You just want to be able to go from one to the other. The corrections are going to come over time. The instructor is there to guide you in that sense. But if you can get everything to work together, because there's no way to separate the human body, everything has to work in conjunction with the other, Well, allowing to see everything at once is going to get you there a little quicker, if not a bit safer in everything else that you do. So, thank you for joining me again on this Nain short. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, please. It helps out a lot. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much. 3, 2, 1, cut!